On February 28, 2024, Mitch McConnell took to the Senate floor to make an announcement.
To say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
McConnell spent 17 years as the top Senate Republican, the longest-serving party leader in American history. But it was during his 6 years as the Senate Majority Leader that he really flexed his power.
His impact on the American legal landscape is difficult to measure because it is so immense.
It's becoming a frequent foil for Barack Obama, whose appointment of Merrick Garland for a Supreme Court seat he single-handedly blocked.
There's nobody who's more focused on political conquest than he is.
The Senate Majority Leader has become one of the most powerful positions in government. But where does the position come from? Unlike the President, Speaker of the House, or Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, you won't find Senate Majority Leader anywhere in our founding documents.
The power of the Senate Majority Leader kind of happened by accident.
Zach Cohen covers Congress. We asked him to explain what the Senate Majority Leader does and how they even get their job, with the help of a couple of guys who know a little something about the position.
My name is Trent Lott.
I'm Tom Daschle.
The leader in the Senate controls everything.
You determine the agenda.
He can block every amendment. He can keep the Senate in session till hell freezes over. And the secret is to know when to let them go and when to make them stay. They're just like children.
The Constitution is light on details about how the Senate operates. The Senate makes its own rules, and the body is largely run on precedent and tradition. One such tradition, the power of recognition, is the source of much of the Majority Leader's power.
The senator from Illinois is recognized.
The senator from Kentucky is recognized.
The senator from Virginia is recognized.
Power recognition in the Senate is the key.
The officer of the day who's presiding over the Senate must call upon the leader if he or she seeks recognition.
And the only way the minority leader gets recognized is for the majority leader to yield or to sit down.
And it's through that most of the rest of the management of the agenda comes through.
Eventually, senators realized they needed a process for picking who will occupy such a powerful position.
Each party has its own rules for how they elect their leaders, although they're very similar between the Democrats and the Republicans.
A leader election is inside politics at its ultimate.
It's a very personal process. It involves a lot of promises of maybe a bill getting on the floor, or even a committee chairmanship or a position on an important panel.
They're subject to persuasion, changing of their minds, and so you have to keep going back to that same person many times.
Sometimes they ask you, look, I've got a huge project in my district. I need you to help me get an earmark. It's not totally a quid pro quo, but it's being aware of what they need.
Every 2 years, after federal general elections in November, senators gather, one party at a time, in the Senate's old chamber. Unlike the messy, very public process for picking the Speaker of the House,
those in favor say aye, those opposed.
Senate leadership votes are held in private, conducted by secret ballot.
They'll sit at these old desks, and the Senate leader candidates will get before them and offer their pitch.
Votes are counted one by one and announced to your caucus, and then ultimately a decision is made.
It's all held behind closed doors. It's all secret. There are no press involved. You can't watch it on C-SPAN.
Each party picks its own leader. The party with the most senators is the majority party, and its leader, the majority leader.
Unlike the Speaker of the House, you don't need a vote of the entire majority of the Senate. You only need a majority of your caucus.
Most often, the vote isn't close.
When I was elected majority leader to succeed Bob Dole, the vote was 44-8.
There are other cases where leaders are elected by acclamation, really without a vote at all. Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader from New York, is one of those. He was elected as minority leader without any opposition because he had built that support up ahead of time.
But occasionally, the result is anyone's guess.
I got elected the first time by just one vote.
Once elected, a leader can run their party for years, shaping the course of history.
These leadership elections will be increasingly important because power has concentrated in these leaders unlike in any time in American history.